44 News starts right now.
It's a shock. You come home from work and you find out your neighbor just got killed by the FBI.
Tonight, homeowners in Robinson are reacting after this week's FBI standoff and deadly shooting.
And those affected by a crane crash in Dallas over a month ago are still waiting for some of their belongings and the latest on the ongoing process.
Plus, Central Texas pups getting a much-needed wash for a worthy cause.
Live from Waco, Temple, and Killeen, your news now. This is Fox 44 News at 9.
Good evening and thanks for joining us on Fox 44 News, the weekend edition. I'm Kendall Green.
And I'm Renee Summer. Hour days after a man was shot and killed in Robinson during an FBI operation, the street is still blocked off and packed with law enforcement agencies. I spoke with one man who tells me that he knows the man that was killed in that standoff.
We're just shocked, that something like that happened in this area out here.
It's all like a very safe community, and when you have something like that happens, that it's very alarming.
A standoff on Stiegel Drive Thursday left a man dead, according to the FBI. The area where it all happened is still blocked off, being investigated, and neighbors are still digesting just what happened.
It was a shock. You come home from work and you find out your neighbor just got killed by the FBI.
This neighbor didn't want to go on camera or be identified, but he says he knew the man gunned down Thursday morning.
When we heard the street name of Stiegel in Robinson, my wife and I like, oh my God. We immediately knew who it was.
And after spending time with him over the years, he thinks the man that was killed was at a low point in his life and then somehow pushed over the edge.
He had some traumatic issues in his life. His daughter was allegedly raped, and because of issues with that, she committed suicide.
He says though he wish he could, he can't bring his neighbor back to life, but he worries about who he left behind.
And he left behind a wife and a young boy. Our concern now is the boy and his mama.
Authorities haven't confirmed any of the man's claims and won't release any additional information until their investigation is complete.
Well, the Herring Avenue Bridge is back open after a car accident this afternoon. Multiple agencies responded to reports of a multiple vehicle crash on Herring Avenue. According to authorities on scene, one car was up on the railing of the Herring Bridge. Officials shut down the bridge to work on clearing the wreck. Due to the damage of that central railing, TxDOT will now investigate. No word yet on any injuries.
After 47 days, the management of an old East Dallas apartment complex affected by a crane collapse is finalizing plans to move it. The Occupational Safety and Health Administration finally announcing it was safe to move the crane.
Meanwhile, the process of returning belongings to those tenants continues. Fox's Lenan Nugent reports.
I thought at this point at least I'd have a clearer sense of when I was going to get my possessions back, and that just hasn't occurred.
Oh my God, the crane is falling over!
Nearly 7 weeks after a crane collapsed into Elon City Lights, the crane itself hasn't moved, and patience among hundreds of displaced residents is wearing thin.
I thought, the initial response from them was great. We were getting updates at least every day, and then it kind of scaled off.
The site has been released by federal safety investigators, clearing the way for the crane company and apartment management to remove it. But residents are still not sure when they can get their cars and belongings back. Fox 4 contacted reps for Biggie and Rigging Crane Company, who directed us to Graystar Apartment Management. Graystar did not respond to our questions, but in their latest online update to residents said a plan is being finalized.
There are sentimental objects that are in there. I mean, it's not truly about my bed. It's not truly about these things that can be replaced. It's about those items that are irreplaceable.
A previous update in June told residents their cars would be moved out by July 1st, and their belongings would be ready for pickup by July 15th. With both dates having come and gone, the latest timeline from apartment management is for residents to get their things back by August 18th.
I don't know. I would love that be the case, that by August 18th I'm going to be able to access my items, but from what we've seen, it's really up in the air of whether that's going to be true.
Fox 4 cameras did catch moving crews making some progress, and Graystar says crews have packed up 71 units so far, with still hundreds more to go.
We used to live in a place that we thought was safe and secure, never thinking the construction that was happening nearby would affect us like this.
With blazing temperatures in Central Texas, some pups were in for a treat today for the 3rd annual Bubbles and Bandanas Dog Wash. For a small donation, folks brought their dogs all sizes to the park for a bath and some treats. The fundraising event was held for a worthy cause to raise money for Alzheimer's. And the folks who put it all together say they were glad to see how many people came up to participate.
We are excited to see everybody. It really turns into quite a social affair. All the dogs and the people, everybody gets to visiting and having a good time.
Well, straight ahead on Fox 44 News, with the soaring temperatures going on all over the country, there is another hot car death, this time involving 1-year-old twins.
Plus, 9 military members arrested for human and drug smuggling. That's coming up.
This is Fox 44 News at 9 with Renee Summerhour, Weather Rate Certified Meteorologist Emily Kay, and Fox 44 Sports with Mandy Knight.
Do you want to make watching your favorite sport even better? All you have to do is click with the new Fox Sports app. Now you can stream every game from anywhere you are.
Need cash? TitleMax offers 2 ways to get it. Get cash using your car title. Go to TitleMax.com, enter the car year, make, model. See how much you can get. TitleMax also offers personal loans. No title required. Check out TitleMax.com when you need more cash. Check out TitleMax.com and shop us for rates. Get up to $2,500 with a personal loan or up to $10,000 using your car title. And you'll say,
I got my title back with TitleMax.
It's a title back with TitleMax.
When a bear is chasing you, you take off faster than a toupee in a fan factory. Move that fast to the Ford Hurry Up and Save sales event, where for the first time ever, get 20% estimated savings on select Ford SUVs. Plus, earn complimentary maintenance through Ford Pass Rewards. Word to the wise, don't get left behind, because missing this deal on the SUV's #1 in brand loyalty will come back to bite you.
Now get 20% estimated savings on select Ford SUVs, plus earn complimentary maintenance through Ford Pass Rewards at your best in Texas Ford dealer.
I switched from Dodge.
We switched from Ford.
I switched from Ram. I switched to Chevy.
We switched to Chevy. We switched to Chevy.
For dependability.
For these guys.
And just look at it.
We switched to Chevy. See for yourself why people are switching at the Chevy All-Star Open House.
Get 20% below MSRP on all Silverado double cab pickups. Or get 0% financing for 72 months on all Silverado LT pickups. Chevy drives Texas. Find new roads.
Hey, Mercedes, how about letting your hair down a little?
How about a car for people who don't play golf?
How about something for a guy who doesn't want a corner office?
Hey, Mercedes, I don't even own a tie. You think I need a mahogany dashboard?
Hey, Mercedes, can you make it a little cooler in here?
I'm setting the temperature to 68 degrees.
We hear you. We made a car that does too. Make the first ever A-Class your first ever Mercedes-Benz. Lease the A220 sedan for just $349 a month at the Mercedes-Benz summer event. Hurry in now. Offers end September 3rd.
The world's first 6-function multi-pro tailgate, available only on the next generation GMC Sierra.
Get over $9,000 total value on this next generation 2019 GMC Sierra SLT.
Visit these Central Texas GMC dealers.
For 50 years, Cracker Barrel has been cooking home-style favorites to perfection. We thought we'd celebrate by making our golden anniversary extra golden. Introducing new, crispy, juicy Southern Fried Chicken. Now at Cracker Barrel.
You're not holding it by the legs, are you?
No, I'm not.
Gorilla Glue.
Of course.
Gorilla Glue is incredibly strong and versatile, even outdoors, for the toughest jobs on planet Earth.
The Fox 44 weather forecast with Weather Rate Certified Meteorologist Emily Kay.
Emily, we enjoyed a couple of days of a cool down. I hope we all took advantage of it because it's going to get hot.
Absolutely. We are on the way to temperatures all the way back up into the upper 90s. So brief cool down all the way back up into the upper 90s. The next several days are going to start to get really hot and really humid. So I don't know if you've noticed, it's actually felt pretty good the past several days.
I'll grab my towel.
Yes. But if we take a look at the satellite radar, hey, good news, no rain across most of Texas right now, and it's going to look like this over the next several days as well. And it's also pretty clear out there. So if we take a look at the visible satellite, there are no clouds around central Texas either. Maybe a cloud or two down near College Station, but overall mostly clear skies throughout the rest of the night tonight going into tomorrow morning. Now we might see a few fair weather cumulus clouds as we go into tomorrow afternoon, but overall going to be a very nice day. And if we look at the live radar again, nothing to see here in central Texas. A closer look at the area, maybe a shower down near Navasota, but overall again very nice here in central Texas. Temperatures in the mid to upper 80s across most of the area, feeling pretty good. Those feel like temperatures really not too bad. And if we take a look at the dew points across most of the area, look at that. All the way off to our west, they're all the way into the lower 60s and even into the upper 50s. So feeling pretty good out there. If we do take a quick look off to our east, though, those dew points still in the lower 70s to upper 60s. We'll take that over the mid 70s any day. However, and again, as we go throughout the rest of the week, those dew points getting right back up into the mid 70s, and the heat index will follow it. But right now, feeling more like the lower 90s and upper 80s across most of the area. So really not too bad of a night tonight. A little on the cool side for this time of year. If we take a look at the futurecast overnight tonight, temperatures dropping down into the 70s and then lower 80s by midnight, getting into the mid 70s by tomorrow morning, or the lower 70s, and a few clouds throughout the area, but overall not too bad of a morning. As we go into the afternoon, temperatures warming back into the 90s. We might see a shower or two here or there, but really hit or miss showers, so not going to be a problem for your Sunday afternoon. And as we go into Sunday evening, temperatures dropping down into the lower 80s, upper 70s. Another nice night as those clouds move through. Monday morning, mid 70s. Now we're going to warm up just a little bit on Monday. Those highs getting all the way up into the upper 90s once again, hitting 98 around Temple. That's what this model is saying. So another warm day on Monday, a few afternoon showers and storms, but overall really not a bad day. And overnight tonight, temperatures into the mid 70s, mostly clear, just a little humid. Tomorrow, highs getting into the mid 90s. I wish it was the 60s, mid 90s going into the rest of your Sunday. And as we look at our 7-day forecast, really not a bad 7-day forecast either. We do get back into the upper 90s on Monday, but that is where we're supposed to be for this time of year. So really not too bad. Mid 70s as we go throughout the rest of our lows for the week. So again, upper 90s getting on Monday, or starting on Monday. So get outside and enjoy that tomorrow, those cooler temperatures. And it's going to be the exact same thing with Bryan College Station for your 7-day. About a 20% chance of rain on Tuesday. And again, we do have that chance of afternoon showers and thunderstorms throughout the rest of the week. So I'd leave the umbrella in the car, but there's no reason to keep it on you for the next 7 days. But for now, back to you guys.
It's a story we hate hearing time and time again. 2 young lives cut short. 1-year-old twins were left in a hot car while their father went to work. Melissa Rainey reports.
A tragic scene in the Bronx Friday night. Police tape blocked the streets as New York authorities investigated the death of twin babies in a hot car.
It's terrible. And then 2 kids, it's a big tragedy.
Identified by New York police as Marissa and Phoenix Rodriguez, both 1-year-old. The father, Juan Rodriguez, has been charged with 2 counts of manslaughter and 2 counts of criminal negligent homicide.
I can't understand how he left them.
Police said the twins were left inside the car for 8 hours. Outside temperatures climbed into the mid-80s through the day, while their father worked his shift at the nearby VA hospital. The twins were found unresponsive in the back of his car after he left work. Witnesses say that's when they saw Rodriguez pull over and yell for help.
I was coming out my building when he was going around the car, yelling and screaming. Bits and pieces I could hear was like, it's not my fault, it was an accident.
Authorities quickly arrived on scene, covering the vehicle and assessing the situation.
When he looked in the back seat, all you could see is the officer do this and then start shaking his head.
I'm Melissa Rainey reporting.
Rodriguez is expected to appear in court for arraignment. He has not yet entered a plea.
A disturbing story out of California. 18 Marines and 1 sailor are in custody on human smuggling and drug offenses. They were pulled out of formation during a morning roll call at Camp Pendleton Thursday. And officials say the arrests are related to an incident earlier this month where 2 Marines were charged with smuggling migrants across the southern border. 8 other Marines were also questioned in alleged drug offenses unrelated to the arrests. This all comes one day after the Navy kicked an entire platoon of elite SEALs out of Iraq for drinking alcohol in a war zone. Well, coming up next on Fox 44 News, there's Uber, there's Waiter, and now an app for swimming pools. Details in your Fox 44 Consumer Report.
And coming up on Fox 44 Sports, we'll find out if Zeke Elliott showed up to camp today or continued to hold out for a new contract.
Do you want to make watching your favorite sport even better? All you have to do is click. with the new Fox Sports app. Now you can stream every game from anywhere you are.
Make this the summer of Ram during Benny Boyd's summer clearance event at Lampasas. The award-winning 2019 Ram 1500 is available in 6 different trims, so you can find one that truly matches your style. And right now, Benny is offering 25% off select new Ram 1500s. Only Benny offers free delivery, a lifetime engine warranty, and $8 oil changes for life. So for less bull and more Ram, it's the summer clearance event at Benny Boyd Lampasas.
That's Benny Boyd, y'all.
You got your homework?
Yeah.
Yeah? Hey.
What's the role of a car company? To take your kids to and from school?
Don't forget your science project.
We think it can be something bigger.
Everybody take your seats. Today we're going to...
This summer, Volkswagen is supporting America's teachers. Visit your VW dealer to learn how you can join in. Hurry in during the Volkswagen Drive Bigger event and lease a family-friendly 2019 Atlas V6 SE with technology for just $389 a month.
Papa John's new Picks for 6 menu of quality items lets you build your perfect meal. Like a medium pizza and wings, or just pizza and more pizza. Pick 2 for $6 each. Only at Papa John's.
Have your news with you wherever you are. Download the free Centex Proud mobile app.
Stage Center Theater invites you to step back in time to meet Felicity Fair, the beautiful heroine who suffers from amnesia and falls in love with the hero and farmer, Malvin Larkfield, but cannot marry him because she may already be married. Enter villain Cyril Bothingwell, who claims Felicity is his wife. Will the hero save the day? Come boo, hiss, and throw popcorn when Stage Center presents the classic melodrama Caught in the Villain's Web, July 25th through August 10th.
What does it take to work at CarMax? That's a great question.
If you'd stop in a monsoon to help someone change a tire, save a whale that had beached itself,
You're gonna be okay, big guy. Push!
lend a hand in an old-timey barn raising, and if the middle school dance group was down one member and you'd step in and lead them all the way to glory,
then CarMax is for you, because helping people is what our people are all about.
In some consumer news, it's almost time for Shark Week on the Discovery Channel, so get out of bed and fuel up with some Baby Shark cereal. I can't help myself. Baby Shark, do 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 do. Okay, well, Kellogg's is launching Baby Shark cereal so you can sing right along with your kids at the table. The cereal maker partnered with Pink Fog, is the creator of the viral video children's song to launch the product. The flavors of the cereal include berry-flavored loops and marshmallows, of course. The annual ritual worrying about whether it's safe or not to get into the water starts Sunday, and the cereal is available a little later at Sam's Club mid-August and in Walmart in September.
Speaking of Walmart and Nordstrom are trying out a new stores where customers can't shop. Walmart's newly opened prototype, called a Walmart Pickup Point, is located outside of Chicago. To shop, customers don't even have to get out of their cars. Instead, employees come out and load whatever items you've already ordered to your car. These type of stores let retailers, consumers that don't want to wait for delivery but live in areas where building large physical locations is expensive. If you order food from a delivery service, a new study says you might want to reconsider that habit. Data from U.S. Foods finds 28% of delivery drivers confess to nibbling on customer food before it hits their doors. Researchers looking at consumer and delivery attitudes find 80% of customers receiving food deliveries suspect a deliverer taking their food. Half of deliverers say they've attempted to dig in just by the smell of it. And other bad behaviors from delivery workers include staying in cars and passing food through windows. The most dreaded action from the delivery guy is dropping food outside of and leaving.
Yeah, deleting that food service off my phone right now.
Don't do that.
All right. Well, a dip in the pool can be a great way to beat the summer heat, but if you don't have a pool, you're out of luck, right? Well, not anymore. A new app aims to solve that problem. Fox's Audrey Puente has the story.
With summer in full swing, you may be looking for a pool to beat the heat. Don't have one? Well, there's an app for that. It's called Swimply, and it simply matches pool owners with non-pool owners.
Pool owners have pools. They're spending a lot of money for it on a constant basis, and they find themselves not using it too often.
Bunham Laskin is the founder of Swimply, which is the first ever online marketplace for pool sharing.
We're actually helping our hosts make an amazing side income using their pool that otherwise would go unused, and we're helping, the rest of America, actually have a perfect escape whenever they want, and to be able to use something that till now they couldn't.
Owners of backyard pools rent them on an hourly basis with rates ranging from $16 to $200. The cost is based on the size of the pool, amenities, timing, and demand.
We want everybody to have that high quality life, higher lifestyle, be able to spend time with family and friends, in an intimate setting at an affordable price.
Once an owner signs up their pool, a background check is done within 24 hours. Swimply partners up with local pool service and maintenance companies to make sure each pool is up to code, is sanitized, and is safe. Rachel Joseph from Oceanside uses Swimply to help offset the cost of her pool.
We love the pool, we don't use it enough. It's also kind of expensive to run it. And so when I saw this opportunity, I said, oh, that's a great way to make some money, and I love seeing my pool actually be used more than once or twice a week.
Her pool has been rented for a variety of reasons.
We've had work parties, we've had families, we even had a photo shoot done here.
Pool owners and users are responsible for their own insurance claims, and Swimply earns a 25% commission from each rental. It officially launched in May and already has 15,000 users for 5,000 pools in 26 states. To join the service, just go to Swimply.com. Apple users can download the app called Swimply, and Android users, your app will be coming out shortly. Reporting from Oceanside, Audrey Puente, Fox 5 News.
It's Fox 44 First Sports with Mandy Knight.
Today, the Cowboys officially hit the gridiron for practice at camp, and Zeke Elliott continued to hold out. Now, Jason Garrett stayed positive about Zeke not being there, saying it's an opportunity for guys to prove what they can do at any position, not just running back. Jason Witten is also looking at the glass half full when it comes to Zeke. After all, Witten is a Cowboys veteran, and if there is one player who knows what he's talking about, it's Witt.
And he's a huge part of this football team, has been since day one, minute one. And I've had a great relationship with Zeke over the years. He's a smart football player, great guy, the charisma that he brings for his football team.
Staying with the running backs, but heading down to Houston, the Texans practice in full pads today, and running back Dante Foreman is feeling great after recovering from a torn Achilles that he suffered in November of 2017. Foreman only played in one game last year where he caught 2 passes for 28 yards and a touchdown. The former Longhorn is thankful to be back to full strength.
Being out there on the football field with my teammates and, just competing, I try not to take it for granted at all because, going through a season where you don't really get to play and you just out here every day watching, the rest of the guys compete, that was hard. So, the fact that I'm out here and I'm healthy, I take it every day, and I really respect, the fact that I'm out here.
I have high expectations for him. I think that he's a talented guy. He's from this area. I know he wants to do well. I just think that he's got a chance to be a really good football player.
Later on in sports, I will have more on the Texans. And it's just been a really exciting day, camp starting out this week, and I've just been glued to the NFL Network, getting all the full reports, on all the NFL teams. So excited. It's
coming.
Yeah, I think we're 40 days out from the first game exactly.
Hope Zeke make it back, man. He got to get.
Yeah, he'll be back. I mean, they're going to work something out. It's in the works. It just hasn't been finalized yet.
Yeah, well, you'll explain more later on in sports,
sure.
I'm sure. She's always holding out information on us. All right, thank you for that. Now, with the governor out, there's a level of uncertainty in Puerto Rico. What the people want to see next.
Sponsored by Cliffview Resort, a family vacation classic overlooking beautiful Lake Whitney. Visit lakewhitneyvacation.com and book your getaway today.
The world's first 6-function multi-pro tailgate, available only on the next generation GMC Sierra. Get 20% below MSRP on next generation 2019 GMC double cab and SLE crew cab models with a standard tailgate.
Red hot mattress savings at American Freight. Take it home today for $50 with low easy payments. All mattress sets come factory wrap, price hundreds below MSRP, and include up to a 10-year manufacturer warranty. Mattress sets from only $49 each piece. Deluxe foam mattress sets from $99 each piece. Cooling gel mattresses from only $169 each piece. Try it before you buy it. Free layaway, same-day delivery, ends July 31st. Conveniently located at 1000 North Loop 340.
Hi, I'm Mel Robbins. I know what it's like to feel stuck. I know what it's like to feel like maybe
You just don't have it in you. But believe me, you do. And I'm going to show you how to find it.
The Mel Robbins Show, coming September 16th, only on Fox 44. KWKT, it's TV for me.
If you prefer real mornings, shouldn't you have a real breakfast? At McDonald's, we get real about breakfast. As real as our Southern-style chicken biscuit with hash browns for only $3. Or choose from select breakfast faves you won't be able to say no to. It's time to wake up breakfast.
I switched from Dodge.
We switched from Ford.
I switched from Ram. I switched to Chevy.
We switched to Chevy. We switched to Chevy.
For dependability.
For these guys.
And just look at it.
We switched to Chevy.
See for yourself why people are switching at the Chevy All-Star Open House.
Get over $4,100 below MSRP on this Equinox. Plus, current GM owners get an additional $1,000 cash allowance. Chevy drives Texas. Find new roads.
Welcome back. After protesting through tropical heat and downpours along with blasts of tear gas to get rid of their governor, Puerto Ricans continue to make waves as they prepare for his successor.
That's right. Fox News correspondent Brian Yanez has more from San Juan, Puerto Rico.
It's a new chapter in Puerto Rico's history, but uncertainty lies ahead in the U.S. territory. Weeks of fury and widespread protests calling for the ouster of embattled Governor Ricardo Rosselló paved the way for celebrations in the streets of La Fortaleza as Rosselló announced his resignation.
This process over 12 days succeeded in waking up the people, and that will have repercussions in other issues. This will not stop with the resignation.
Rosselló has stepped down, but for many of the islanders, a political crisis is far from over.
We don't want him, not just him, but anyone who comes with the agenda of corruption to steal from the people.
Puerto Ricans have been frustrated for years over poverty and alleged corruption in the government. However, the final straw erupted this month following nearly 900 pages of leaked private chats exposing a string of profanity-laced homophobic and misogynistic dialogue between Rosselló and members of his inner circle. The documents revealing government officials insulting other politicians and even mocking victims of Hurricane Maria, which killed thousands of Puerto Ricans in 2017. As Rosselló prepares to announce his successor, many fear they'll be trading in one corrupt leader for another.
Since we don't have a Secretary of State, because the governor, the previous one, resigned in the middle of this crisis, the law, which supplies the Constitution in that sense, called for the Secretary of Justice to become the next governor for the remaining of the term.
Wanda Vasquez is a Secretary of Justice. While in line to become the interim governor, there are questions over whether she should resign herself shortly after accepting the position. She's been implicated in the chat scandal as well. The people of Puerto Rico are not giving up. They're demanding a new and responsible government. Marcus White, Fox News.
Still to come, homeowners in Robinson are reacting after this week's FBI standoff and deadly shooting. That and a recap of today's top headlines.
Do you want to make watching your favorite sport even better? All you have to do is click with the new Fox Sports app. Now you can stream every game from anywhere you are.
Summer isn't long, but summer to-do lists are. Let a Ford F-150 help quickly turn your to-dos into ta-das. During the Ford Hurry Up and Save sales event, get 20% estimated savings on select Ford F-150s, plus earn complimentary maintenance through Ford Pass Rewards. It's a hit, so chill and enjoy your summer in America's best-selling trucks 42 years straight.
Get 20% estimated savings on select F-150s plus complimentary maintenance through Ford Pass Rewards at your best in Texas Ford dealer.
I've never heard of a perfect breastfeeding story. It's hard at first. It's really hard.
WIC was there when I needed them the most.
It's the best.
The ultimate mom support. That's what WIC does.
Have your news with you wherever you are. Download the free Centex Proud mobile app.
You know when you're at Ross and that cute dress gets even cuter? Yes! Or when you can say yes to both? Sure. Or when you find that brand at that price? Are you kidding me? Yeah. That's yes for less. And that's what Ross always has in store. Whoa. Yes. Oh, yeah. It feels even better when you find it for less. at Ross. Yes for less.
It's the Honda Summer Spectacular event. That means more euphoric feelings that come from getting a great deal on a Honda CR-V or HR-V. Or from getting a Pilot or Passport. All part of 2019's Best SUV brand. Hurry in today and experience the joy for yourself.
Get a great deal on the Honda CR-V, part of 2019's Best SUV brand, at the Honda Summer Spectacular event.
Covering West, Lampasas, and College Station, this is Fox 44 News at 9.
Welcome back. After days, I should say, after a man was shot and killed in Robinson during an FBI operation, the street is still blocked off and packed with law enforcement agencies.
Yeah, that's right. I spoke with a man who tells me he knew the man that was killed in that standoff.
I was just shocked, that something like that happened in this area out here.
It's all like a very safe community, and when you have something like that happens, that it's very alarming.
A standoff on Stiegel Drive Thursday left a man dead, according to the FBI. The area where it all happened is still blocked off, being investigated, and neighbors are still digesting just what happened.
It was shock. You come home from work and you find out your neighbor just got killed by the FBI.
This neighbor didn't want to go on camera or be identified, but he says he knew the man gunned down Thursday morning.
When we heard the street name of Stiegel in Robinson, my wife and I like, oh my God. We immediately knew who it was.
And after spending time with him over the years, he thinks the man that was killed was at a low point in his life and then somehow pushed over the edge.
He had some traumatic issues in his life. His daughter was allegedly raped, and because of issues with that, she committed suicide.
He says though he wish he could, he can't bring his neighbor back to life, but he worries about who he left behind.
He left behind a wife and a young boy. Our concern now is the boy and his mama.
Now, authorities haven't confirmed any of the man's claims and won't release any additional information until their investigation is complete.
The Herring Avenue Bridge is back open after a car accident this afternoon. Multiple agencies responded to reports of multiple vehicle crash on Herring Avenue. According to authorities on scene, one car was up on the railing of that bridge. Officials shut down the bridge to work on clearing the wreck, and due to the damage to the railing, TxDOT is now investigating. No word yet on any injuries.
After 47 days, the management of an old East Dallas apartment complex affected by a crane collapse is finalizing plans to move it. The Occupational Safety and Health Administration finally announces that it's safe to move the crane.
Yeah, and if we all remember this incident, meanwhile, the process of those tenants getting their belongings continues. Fox's Lenan Nugent reports.
I thought at this point, at least I'd have a clearer sense of when I was going to get my possessions back, and that just hasn't occurred.
Oh my God, the crane is falling over! Nearly 7 weeks after a crane collapsed into Elon City Lights, the crane itself hasn't moved, and patience among hundreds of displaced residents is wearing thin.
I thought, the initial response from them was great. We were getting updates at least every day, and then it kind of scaled off.
The site has been released by federal safety investigators, clearing the way for the crane company and apartment management to remove it. But residents are still not sure when they can get their cars and belongings back. Fox 4 contacted reps for Biggie and Rigging Crane Company, who directed us to Graystar Apartment Management. Graystar did not respond to our questions, but in their latest online update to residents said a plan is being finalized.
There are sentimental objects that are in there. I mean, it's not truly about my bed. It's not truly about these things that can be replaced. It's about those items that are irreplaceable.
A previous update in June told residents their cars would be moved out by July 1st, and their belongings would be ready for pickup by July 15th. With both dates having come and gone, the latest timeline from apartment management is for residents to get their things back by August 18th.
I don't know. I would love that be the case, that by August 18th I'm going to be able to access my items. But from what we've seen, it's really up in the air of whether that's going to be true.
Fox 4 cameras did catch moving crews making some progress, and Graystar says crews have packed up 71 units so far, with still hundreds more to go.
We used to live in a place that we thought was safe and secure, never thinking the construction that was happening nearby would affect us like this.
With blazing temperatures in Central Texas, some pups were in for a treat today for the 3rd annual Bubbles and Bandanas Dog Wash. For a small donation, folks brought their dogs all sizes to the park for a bath and some treats. The fundraising event was held for a worthy cause, to raise money for Alzheimer's. And the folks who put it all together say they were glad to see how many people came out to participate.
We are excited to see everybody. It really turns into quite a social affair. All the dogs and the people, everybody gets to visiting and having a good time.
Well, still to come on Fox 44 News, Bohemian Rhapsody hits 1 billion views on YouTube. And we have more with Jackie Chan getting a prestigious award and a first look at Zombieland Double Tap.
The world's first 6-function multi-pro tailgate, available only on the next generation GMC Sierra.
Get over $9,000 total value on this next generation 2019 GMC Sierra SLT.
Visit these Central Texas GMC dealers.
Papa John's new Picks for 6 menu of quality items lets you build your perfect meal. Like a medium pizza and wings, or just pizza and more pizza. Pick 2 for $6 each. Only at Papa John's.
I switched from Dodge.
We switched from Ford.
I switched from Ram. I switched to Chevy.
We switched to Chevy. We switched to Chevy.
For dependability.
For these guys.
And just look at it.
We switched to Chevy.
See for yourself why people are switching at the Chevy All-Star Open House.
Get over $3,000 below MSRP on this Traverse. Plus, select current GM owners in Texas get an additional $2,000 total cash allowance. Chevy drives Texas. Find new roads.
KWKT, it's TV for me.
Where's Danny? Where'd he go?
The 2019 Nissan Rogue with available Nissan Safety Shield 360. This is all-around protection. This is Nissan Intelligent Mobility. Save up to $3,000 or get a low $199 per month lease on the 2019 Rogue.
Have you heard? Tempur-Pedic sleep is better sleep.
With innovative memory foam developed by NASA, Tempur-Pedic mattresses reduce motion transfer, which means less tossing and turning so you can sleep undisturbed through the night.
But which Tempur-Pedic is right for you? Come to Denver Mattress and test for yourself. Let our expert sales staff guide you to your perfect Tempur-Pedic.
And rest easy knowing it's backed by our 365-night better sleep guarantee. Shop Denver Mattress today, your Tempur-Pedic elite retailer.
Unlimited movies? That's what Regal Cinemas is offering with a new monthly subscription plan. But it comes with a few confusing price tags. Regal Unlimited plans range from $18 to $23 per month, depending on where you live. Those paying $18 will have access to the 200 Regal locations in smaller markets. For entry to second-tier cinemas, fans will pay $21. And the $23 price tag means you can go to any Regal theater, but it requires a 12-month commitment.
Well, it's time to talk about movies and music, and one of my personal favorites, Bohemian Rhapsody, hitting 1 billion streams on YouTube.
Here's David Daniel with the Hollywood Minute.
I see a little silhouette of a man. Scaramouche, will you do the fandango?
It's taken a while, but Queen's video for Bohemian Rhapsody has topped 1 billion views on YouTube, the oldest music video ever to hit that milestone. Interest in last year's movie by the same name helped to put the clip over the top. A British honor for a Hong Kong star in America. Jackie Chan is set to receive the Albert R. Broccoli Britannia Award for worldwide contribution to entertainment. He'll be honored October 25th at the Britannia Awards in Los Angeles, BAFTA's biggest event outside of the UK.
Oh, God. Hey, Possum Ape. Sorry, just you in that chair. I think I would have made a damn fine president.
You would have brought a real dignity to the office.
You're welcome, America.
Here's your first look at Zombieland Double Tap. Woody Harrelson, Jesse Eisenberg, Emma Stone, and Abigail Breslin all return for the sequel to the 2009 horror comedy adventure, which lurches into theaters October 18th. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
The Fox 44 weather forecast with Weather Rates certified meteorologist Emily Kay.
Look, I sweat easy. I've been sweating all week. Listen, tell me, is it going to change for me this week or not?
I'm so sorry. It's only going to get hotter from here. I know. We had a brief cool down.
No more shea butter. You can't put so much shea butter on.
Playing.
I'm so sorry. It is going to get a little hotter. We'll talk about that with the 7-day, but temperatures reaching the upper 90s, 99 degrees on Wednesday. Just a little sneak peek for you there. Unfortunately, but if we look at the live radar, hey, good news if you have Saturday night plans. No rain out there. It's dry and it's nice. Dew points are on the lower side right now as well for most of us. Temperatures on the lower side as well. So if we're looking at those temperatures across central Texas, in the mid 80s across most of the area, into the upper 80s down to our south around Giddings, 89 degrees. But overall, again, not too bad out there. Temperatures upper 80s. Dew points off to our west. Not too bad either, all the way into the upper 50s. Brownwood seeing those dew points at 57. It's feeling pretty good out there, even into the lower 60s in parts of the area. But as we go off to our east, dew points reaching the 70s. So College Station seeing dew points in the 70s, Hearn seeing dew points in the lower 70s. A little more humid off to our east, but overall, not too bad. Usually we're seeing these dew points in the mid 70s right now, and it's making our heat index feel pretty much like it's supposed to. Those temperatures in the upper 80s and feeling like it. The heat index is actually a little cooler in some areas as well. College Station feeling like 90 degrees, Hearn 92 degrees. Really not a bad night out there. Unfortunately, as we go throughout the rest of the week, those dew points getting right back up. Those feel like temperatures getting back into the triple digits by Wednesday. Even by Tuesday, we're going to start to feel the heat moving through. And if we take a look at our future cast overnight, tonight, temperatures dropping down into the 70s and into the lower 80s by midnight. And as we get into tomorrow morning, temperatures getting into the mid to lower 70s. We'll have a few clouds out there, but overall, not a bad Sunday morning. Getting into the afternoon, partly cloudy skies. Temperatures getting back into the mid to upper 90s. Maybe an afternoon shower or two, but it will be more hit or miss. It won't be a total washout of a day on Sunday. Really, most of us won't even see any rain. And as we get into Sunday night, temperatures once again dropping back down into the lower 80s, upper 70s. Getting into Monday morning, waking up to those temperatures in the mid 70s, partly cloudy skies. Now Monday's when we're going to start to warm up just a little bit, getting into the upper 90s. Some showers moving through by Monday afternoon, but overall hit or miss showers again. This model's picking up tempo reaching 98 degrees in the afternoon on Monday. So a warmer day on Monday for some of us. Temperatures overnight tonight dropping down into the mid 70s, mostly clear, humid. Tomorrow temperatures getting into the mid to upper 90s, mostly sunny, a little warmer than it was today. Monday being even warmer than our Sunday. So if you are taking the dog out for a walk, really not going to be too bad of a day tomorrow. This is Pepper, in case anyone's wondering, and I'll step out of the frame for you here so we can take a look at Pepper. Thank you for sending in Pepper today. I know, isn't Pepper so cute? Temperatures tomorrow morning starting off in the mid 70s, warming up into the mid 90s by tomorrow. So tomorrow afternoon might be a little too warm to take your dog out for a walk. Remember, if it's too hot for you, it's definitely too hot for your dog. But tomorrow morning, getting into the late morning and then into the early evening, really not too bad. I know my dog would enjoy a walk tomorrow afternoon, or tomorrow evening, not tomorrow afternoon. He's kind of a diva when it comes to the heat, honestly. But if you want to send in a picture of your dog, make sure to go to news@kwkt.com. That's the email address. You can send them to us, and you might see your dog on the dog walk forecast.
Can we not discriminate against catwalks?
I would love a catwalk.
I'm just saying. All right, continue.
I didn't know it was a thing.
When's National Cat Day? I'll put a cat up there. Don't you worry.
People walk their cats.
I've seen someone walk their ferret before. So if you walk your ferret, you can always send it in. Just send it in. If it's too hot for you, it's too hot for your ferret.
That's right.
I got you. Well, coming up on Fox 44 Sports, we'll hear the latest on the Cowboys from Oxnard and who showed up for day 2 of camp.
Brew in Belton is looking for hard-working, dedicated team members to work in a fast-paced manufacturing environment building homes. Apply online at careers.claytonhbg.com.
New ice cream cookie sandwiches from Sonic. Delicious cookies and real ice cream are on a summer reunion tour. They taste so good live. Hurry in for Sonic Nights. New $1.49 ice cream cookie sandwiches and half-price shakes after 8.
Need cash? TitleMax offers 2 ways to get it. Get cash using your car title. Go to TitleMax.com, enter the car year, make, model. See how much you can get. TitleMax also offers personal loans. No title required. Check out TitleMax.com when you need more cash. Check out TitleMax.com and shop us for rates. Get up to $2,500 with a personal loan or up to $10,000 using your car title. And you'll say,
I got my title back with TitleMax.
Get a title back with TitleMax.
Okay, parents, let's focus. Our first lesson is about how HEB is your one-stop shop for everything on their list.
In one convenient place, you can get LOL backpacks, Fortnite lunch kits, fashion pencil cases. No phones, Mr. Hayes.
But it's work.
Work can wait.
So my kids are really picky about school supplies?
We don't say picky, Mrs. Peterson, but for kids with great taste, HEB has it all. Time for a pop quiz.
Kids know back to school and that they'll find everything on their list at HEB.
Pop quiz?
The world's first six-function multi-pro tailgate, available only on the next generation GMC Sierra.
Get 20% below MSRP on next generation 2019 GMC double cab and SLE crew cab models with a standard tailgate.
I'm really getting a vacation vibe off of this mocktail slot.
This has transported me to some peaceful beach.
We needed to get away.
From what?
From that parking space.
Oh, yeah, we were there last week.
Oh, week!
Get them while you can. New mocktail slushes like Pina Colada.
People assume we choose this life. Sometimes it's life chooses us.
911 returns Mondays this fall on Fox.
I don't know, our relationship's just kind of boring.
You're not alone. I used to have a limited selection of shows on demand. And let me tell you, it got very boring. I got DirecTV last week, and they have more than 50,000 titles to choose from.
But what about my problems?
Classic narcissist.
What was that?
Nothing.
TV without thousands of titles on demand is just kinda TV. Don't just kinda TV, DirecTV. Sign up for DirecTV and get HBO included for a year. Call 1-800-DirecTV.
If you prefer real mornings, shouldn't you have a real breakfast? At McDonald's, we get real about breakfast. As real as our Southern-style chicken biscuit with hash browns for only $3. Or choose from select breakfast faves you won't be able to say no to. It's time to wake up breakfast.
It's Fox 44 Sports with Mandy Knight.
Welcome back. The Cowboys met for day 2 of camp in Oxnard, and Zeke Elliott did not report as the Cowboys are still in the negotiation process with his agent. And as far as their offense goes, Dak Prescott has improved immensely since working with their new quarterbacks coach, John Kitna, who is very big on footwork and mechanics. And now for more on Cowboys, their second day of camp, we'll send it to Silver Star Nation's Babe Laufenberg.
The Dallas Cowboys are kind of easing their way into this training camp thing. Non-padded practices today and tomorrow. They actually split the offense and defense up onto separate fields. Then on Monday, they'll put those things they call shoulder pads and helmets on and go at it for real. The Cowboys in the city of Oxnard getting the opening day ceremonies out of the way before this afternoon's practice. Now, don't know if they would have given the keys to the city to Zeke Elliott because he is holding out. Zeke is holding out, but today, Jason Witten weighed in.
And he's a huge part of this football team, has been since day one, minute one. And I've had a great relationship with Zeke over the years. He's a smart football player, great guy, the charisma that he brings for his football team. And
so his preseason carries tend to be zero.
Yeah, right.
So somebody can fill that load, right?
Yeah, no, it's a great opportunity for these young guys too. And we have two, obviously we got a bunch of young backs who, a few of them have been here, and we have two rookie backs. So this is a great opportunity for them to take advantage of some extra reps that they're going to get during training camp.
And do you ever tell those rookies, just so you know, number 70 won't be in there when you're in there?
No. These things are tricky. It's really hard. I've seen it over the course of my career, and I thought what Jerry said and Steven, how they approach it, these things happen and you go through them. And
speaking of sharing knowledge, any advice for Zeke as he go through this process?
I got something for you.
What's that?
Let Zeke handle his business and don't ask me about another man's business.
Okay.
DeMarcus Lawrence, of course, got his big money deal this offseason. Now Zeke Elliott is seeing if Jerry Jones has a few coins stuck between his sofa cushions. There is one other player missing, but that's okay. It's safety Xavier Woods. He and his wife had a baby last Thursday. He is expected to report to camp tomorrow. with all things contracts and babies and cowboys. I'm Babe Laufenberg in Oxnard, California.
Thanks, Babe. Well, staying in the NFL, the Texans practice in full pads today for the first time at camp, and the Texans, their first-round draft pick Titus Howard, showed exactly why he was taken in the first round. The offensive tackle out of Alabama State went up against J.J. Watt, who is one of the best defensive ends in the game. Howard may be a young player, but he's picking everything up very quickly.
You know, he's smart, you know, for a young player. I mean, relative to being young. I mean, he's not like, you know, a veteran. He just hasn't seen enough yet to be able to say that, but relative to where he's at in his career, he's able to pick things up. He's a good communicator. He's a great kid.
I try to go as many reps as I can against J.J. Watt, go against Whitney Merciless, because they some good pass rushes. Many other guys is pretty good, but those guys I try to learn as much as I can from them because they've seen it all. And I want to get as many reps as I can against them to prepare me for the season.
And here's a look at a few different notable injuries in the NFL. We have Cincinnati Bengals A.J. Green. He sprained his ankle today at practice. He was actually carted off the field, but it is luckily for the Bengals just a sprain. And the New York Giants are having some unfortunate things happen this past week. Corey Coleman tore his ACL. He's a former Baylor Bear. And then Sterling Shepard dislocated his thumb earlier this week. And also Golden Tate he's appealing his suspension as he's suspended for having a he was suspended for having a drug in his body, but he is obviously trying to get around that. And now switching over to baseball, the Astros dropped their first game of the series last night to the Cardinals, losing 5-3. And tonight, Garrett Cole took the mound, looking to add to another win to his 11-5 record. We'll move to the top of the third. Houston up 2-0, and the bases are loaded for Carlos Correa, and he goes for it on the 2-2 count. Doesn't have the distance, and it's going for a grand slam, and the Astros extend their lead 6-0. And as usual, Cole was wheeling and dealing from the mound. He finished with 7 strikeouts, giving up 4 hits and 1 earned run through 7 innings. Houston did not let St. Louis back into the game as they go on to win 8-2. Cole gets the victory, and the third game of the series is tomorrow afternoon. And the Rangers and Athletics are also playing right now, and the Rangers are unfortunately down right now 5-0 after the Rangers won the first 2 games of the series. And in other news, Baylor former Lady Bear Brittany Griner made history today as she became the first player in history to have multiple dunks in the WNBA All-Star Game. Griner had herself a day, finishing with 16 points and 9 rebounds in that game right there. So definitely always great to see the Lady Bears in the news for doing some pretty great things on the basketball court.
Yeah, that's right. We love our Lady Bears.
Represent for Waco, Texas.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you for that, Mandy. Well, still to come, one man takes his love for the comic movie Dumb and Dumber to a whole new level.
You're preparing for your day. Trust Chief Meteorologist Mike LaPointe and the Fox 44 Storm Team. Fox 44 News, weather rate certified. Central Texas' most accurate forecast.
Today, work means staying connected. With Sync 3 technology, Ford Super Duty helps you be more productive in the field. It's the pinnacle of work and comfort. Ford Super Duty, with best-in-class horsepower. No other truck offers this level of innovation. We didn't call it super for nothing. Drive the 2019 Ford Super Duty today. F-Series, the best-selling trucks for 42 straight years. Only at your Best in Texas Ford dealer.
My experience with USA Air has been excellent. They really appreciate the military family, and it really shows.
With all that USAA offers, why go with anybody else? We know their rates are good. We know that they're always going to take care of us.
It was an instant savings, and I should have changed a long time ago.
It was funny because when we would call another insurance company, they would say, oh, we can't be USAA.
We're the Weber family.
We're the Tennies.
We're the Hells, and we're USAA members for life.
Get your USAA auto insurance quote today.
From the start, the C-Class was ahead of its time. Still, we never stopped making it stronger, faster, smarter. Because to be the best is to never, ever stop making it better.
There's never been a better time to become part of the Mercedes-Benz family. Lease the C300 sedan for just $389 a month at the Mercedes-Benz summer event. Hurry in now. Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing.
Room after beautiful room can be yours at a great low price during the amazing Rooms to Go summer sale and clearance. Get incredible savings on special clearance buys, reduced prices on beautiful room packages, big price reductions at Rooms to Go kids and teens, and to make buying even easier, honest, interest-free financing. So come on, we need to make some room and you like saving money. So rush to the Rooms to Go summer sale and clearance today.
Where's Daddy? Where'd he go?
The 2019 Nissan Rogue with available Nissan Safety Shield 360. This is all-around protection. This is Nissan Intelligent Mobility. Save up to $3,000 or get a low $199 per month lease on the 2019 Rogue.
Well, if you're a fan of the comedy Dumb and Dumber, check out what this guy did. A Russian actor recreated the Fuzzy Mutt Cuts van from the 1994 comic. And of course, you know, could you imagine seeing that as you're going down the street?
It looked hot.
Yeah, I was going to say that. I hope he has air in there. Emily, a quick look at our weather before we dip out of here.
Well, it's going to be hot the next several days. Temperatures in the upper 90s. It's going to start to feel like the triple digits once again by Tuesday. Lows in the mid 70s. Same thing for Bryan College Station.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you back here tomorrow night at 9.